Hey YouTube, Moose Cow here with a components video update for our game of Kings and Kaisers. I just got these from Madman. I just went and picked them up from his place yesterday. We met up with Hammer Time and Fearing, another player in the community, and played a game of BBR5, and it was a good time. Fearing and I managed to beat the Axis Powers, who were Madman and Hammer Time and stuff like that. So. But while I was there, we picked up these new. I picked up these new components from Madman. I previously showed off the battle board, but I just picked up another one from him because he had given me one that he had tried to like scratch to see. It was a prototype basically. He was just we were testing different materials and stuff. So I picked up another one from him that is scratch free. Didn't really come up. Those didn't really pop on the last video and stuff. So kind of speaks to the quality of this. So I picked up another one of those. So this is the same as I showed in another video, basically. I can't remember what the material is this is made out of, but it's like basically a very sturdy foam board, and it feels like it has some kind of a little bit of a texture to it, but it's very smooth, and it's just a very solid thing. I do think that if you did drop it onto a corner, it would probably have some damage and stuff like that, like if you dropped it off of a table or something like that. But overall, very, very sturdy. Doesn't bend very, has a little bit of bend, but it's really solid. Like this a lot. Anyway, so not much different there, other than I've taken a Sharpie, or not a Sharpie. I didn't take a Sharpie. I took a marker. So normally, when you look at the board, when you first get the board, these sides will be white, and I took a Sharpie and filled those. Or, sorry, again, not a Sharpie, it's a marker. Sharpies, while also a marker, I noticed a lot of Sharpies tend to have a little bit of a glare to them, kind of with their ink and stuff I don't really like. So I just wanted a true black marker, and I used that, and I'll show you how I did it exactly. But I filled in the sides there so that you don't see like white edges. So you don't have to do that. They won't come like that if you want to order one of these from Madman. But you can easily do that yourself. Yeah, like see this white here, it looks like that on the side normally, and that's just the way it gets printed. They can't blacken the edges at the print shop and stuff. So if you want to, you can do that yourself, and I'll show you in a bit. I'll show you how I did that. But the real star of the show of this video is this. This is the updated victory point and income tracker that Madman made. You've probably seen in our previous videos, Madman and I have this prototype that he got made, and there's a couple errors in it because we were just in a hurry to get things done. And as you can see, it's laminated because it's just a big piece of paper, and I think he went to like an Office Depot or something and had them laminate it. And yeah, like because of the lamination, it's got, as you can see, glare. I actually got a shop light above me that's what's causing this glare right here. But with this original prototype, these minor cities are out of order. We had actually one minor city that we turned into a victory city, Munich, so that was duplicated, and we forgot to add Bucharest over here originally, and those are now present on this bad boy right here, which you can see no real glare issue. The minor cities list is now alphabetized. Let's see if I can get close without knocking everything off. All right, and then going over here. Let's see, we got all those. We got the special victory cities that are worth 2 points each up here, and we have the standard victory points kind of listed by region on the map pretty much. And then here we have all of these other victory cities are alphabetized as well. And you'll notice that these ones here are not purely alphabetized, but in terms of central powers is alphabetized, allied powers is alphabetized, London, Paris, Berlin, Vienna. Rather than mixing that up, we thought that was the best way to go, pretty much. Another new addition, maybe you've noticed, is this red 85 right here, which was not present on the original. The original also only went up to 80. Now it goes up to 96, as you see. And this 85, this is important because that is what denotes the empire point, which is the income of Austria-Hungary and Germany combined is at 85 or higher, or the combined income of the British Empire and the French Republic is 85 or higher. So either side can get the empire point, and possibly both sides can get the empire point. But that was a nice touch that Madman came up with. That nice little 85. And like if you take a look at this, you'll see like it looks like it's wood and stuff. Madman did this nice like etching, like, you know, it looks like there's like slats of wood and a little bit of different texture and stuff. It looks really cool in person. I don't know if my phone's doing it justice, but it looks pretty good to me on the phone. But yeah, we got that going on, and it's the same kind of thing, same kind of board, same kind of material, pretty strong. A little less flex actually, probably because it's just a bigger piece. But it's the same thing. It's the same thing where the sides will be this white, the same white material. And I started working on this one originally, and then I thought, hey, you know, maybe let me show you how I did it when I colored these in. So this is what they'll look like normally. This side right here, right? So this one I did not do yet, and I'll just kind of show you real quick. Since I'm making this video, you know, might as well show you a little bit of the arts and crafts technique of it. So what I did was, because you don't want the marker to slip. This is an old painting tray of mine. What I usually do is I use painter's tape to tape down miniatures so that when you paint them, they don't go flying. And then after they dry, or not miniatures, but game pieces, then I flip them, paint the other side and stuff, just because airbrushing might send stuff flying and have issues and stuff. So this is kind of how I paint things when I have to paint things. And so I just reuse this piece of wood cardboard over and over again. So there's so much paint on here, actually, you can kind of feel little divots here forming and stuff. So, and I just save cardboard and keep using the same stuff, so you can see all the different projects happening. But anyway, I used the back side of it, and you can see here there's all these marker marks, right? So all I did, and this is dry. I'll kind of bend down here a little bit now, get to my work level. So essentially, I did this along cardboard, but the first time I did it, or I do it rather, because you don't want the ink to kind of bleed over too much if you do it too thick, right? So basically what I did here, let me see if I can illuminate this a little better. Okay, yeah, so I'll just kind of do it right here. So basically, while putting the pen on the cardboard, you're using the side of the pen, of the marker rather, against the image. So you put pressure so it's flat, right? Just kind of do that. And you don't want to do, I'm not centered, but you don't want to do too much at once. In my experience, you don't want to do too much at once, because then the ink can like kind of seep under if you put too much. So you just kind of do a little bit at a time. And the idea here is you're not trying to get, because you don't want to bleed over, right? So you're just trying to get that bottom edge a little bit, right? And you don't want to, you kind of want to push against the side, right? If this makes any sense, I hope so. Just kind of do your best. And then, I'm not going to do the whole thing, this is just an example. And then you flip it, and then you'll see, you can kind of see here that the bottom is still white. So I flipped it there, and then do basically just the reverse. And you're not trying to push up top, because you don't want the ink to accidentally go over, you don't want to slip. So you got to do this real gentle, because you don't want to accidentally write on this side, especially not this side. So just kind of do that. And again, you don't want to do too much, because you don't want the ink to pile up and seep under. But just kind of there, right? And so that does it pretty nicely. And then you can see, you can just do some touch-ups. Do some touch-ups according to your, how close, how much of a perfectionist you are. That basically is up to you. But you just take your time and be careful with it. And again, you don't have to do this if you don't mind the white edges. You don't have to do this, but it does look a lot more, a lot even cooler. It looks even cooler with the edges black. It looks like even more official. It is official, but makes it ultra official, right? So I'm just gonna kind of, right? And oh, I realize I'm off screen again. So I just did it again, and when I did this, because again, like, I mean, this dries pretty quickly, but I just never, because I have Murphy's Law is my constant enemy. So I just, I make sure not to go over this again. Obviously, this stuff up here has been dry for several hours, and it's taken me time to actually film this video and stuff, but every time I touch it, I just slide it back a little bit, you know, rotate, slide it back, do the thing, slide it back and stuff. But yeah, just basically do this. And then when you're like, you know, if you start to notice things that you can do and you have a steady enough hand, you can just do little dabs there and dabs there pretty much. But like, see right here, I've got to flip it and do both sides just because I don't want to accidentally go over the edge or whatever. So anyway, that's just like my little trick. If you get these and you want to darken the sides, that's more or less the gist of it. And then eventually, you know, it can look like that on your table. So let's see if yeah. So, I mean, once it's down, it pretty much blends right in with this. You just don't want it to like accidentally seep over. So that's why it's like, if you do it too much, the ink will kind of build up and go under. But if you just do it a little bit, just a little bit at a time, little bit at a time, little bit at a time, it turns out pretty cool. So I will finish the rest of the side on my own accord. But you kind of get the gist of, like I said, you get the gist of what I did. I start with this side, flip it, then do that side, and then you can do your touch-ups and stuff like that. So here, again, kind of show up, all right? Show this off. This is so freaking cool. Now, I kind of messed this one up a little bit when I first, because this was when I was first starting to do this. Here's what I'm talking about. You can kind of see like a tiny bit of ink just like seeped over because I did it too much. So that's what you want to try to avoid happening, is that just don't pile up the ink in one spot. You know, shift it, do it again, rotate it, let it dry for a bit, etc. Just a little bit at a time goes a long way. But honestly, that, and like, while it's a little bit of a bummer that I have that little bleeding right there, I mean, when this is on the table, like, you're not really gonna notice that, you know. But yeah, really cool, really cool. Anyway, the big important part is that the important part of all of this is that you can contact the Madman and get these from him. And he has a bunch of these. He has a bunch of these printed. These are official. They're not changing. They're not changing anytime soon, if ever. I'm not really sure, honestly. But yeah, contact the Madman, and you can get maps, and battle boards and victory point income trackers together. This is a big beefy boy right here, but it's really cool. It's really, really cool. So again, you can contact him. I guess I suppose that that shadow is from the light above me, but I suppose you could, if you wanted to, you could just flip it and spray paint it. But again, I would worry, but because of the nature with spray paint, I would worry with it bleeding underneath, and that's why I wouldn't want to do that. If you feel comfortable doing that, you can give that a shot, but I mean, to me, the marker is just fine, and you can always touch that up if you need to later on. Yeah, I'd be worried about spray painting it, and then you'd have to clear coat it and do all that, and I'm not sure how that would how this would handle that. It might be fine, but again, I'm so used to dealing with Murphy's Law, you know. If anything can go wrong, for me, it'll go extra wrong, you know. So anyway, yeah, contact the Madman. These are really cool, really awesome. These are very big, and if you've seen my games, rather than putting the units on here, I put the 10mm dice that you use for 1914 for Kings and Kaisers, you know. Use the micro dice as opposed to putting all the units, because there's so many chips, you don't want to get all that stuff off the board. It's better to just stack the little dice on here and stuff if you have the micro dice, you know. But otherwise, yeah, this is super cool. Madman did a great job with this. It looks great. It looks awesome. As you can see, the damaged dreadnoughts are red. Combined arms are blue. Cruisers if they're detecting subs, those are blue. We have artillery with air supremacy represented over here. Infantry paired with artillery. Tanks paired with artillery. We have trucks, combined arm defensive trucks, combined arms defense of transports. Yeah, that's basically it right there. Trucks and transports on their own, they have no attack or defense value. Expanding units, we also railgun at 4, attacking at 4, defending at 4. Zeppelins attacking at 3, defending at 1. Sorry, did I say railguns attacking at 4, defending at 1? And then bombers also, again, another expanding unit, attacking at 4, defending at 1. They're a little better than a Zeppelin, but the Zeppelin has more range of movement, pretty much. And then we have the hero units represented that Germany and the British Empire can get the one-time special unit each. And yeah, this is just this game is great. And then check out that awesome Grand Command Gaming logo right there that Madman came up with. And it's got little bits of wear and tear and stuff here and there. It's super cool, super cool. Got some right there too. It adds a nice texture. Madman did a great job with this. So anyway, if you're interested, again, reach out to the Madman. His email, I think, is Grand Command. It'll be in his contact information will be in the video description. But email him if you want these, or a map. If you want these, email him at grandcommandgaming@gmail.com. And you can talk to him there. So yeah. And then also kind of give you an idea, if you haven't seen how these work, these are the some basic bingo chips. And if the Central Powers if they ignite the Russian Revolution, they slap that down. That's a point. If the Allied powers get if they have the most territories in the Western Front, they get that point. And it's they're kind of translucent, so you can see through them. And especially now, the glare of the prototype that you see in some of my older videos don't have that problem anymore. Of course, there's a light right over me, but you can see through these. And unlike BBR, if you lose, you don't have to worry about losing one BBR victory point a roundel chip. If you lose one of that set, then it's kind of a pain in the ass to get it replaced, because there isn't really a store for those yet, at least as far as I know. Maybe combat managers are selling them, but anyway, it's still it's a pain in the butt to get. If you lose one roundel, you got to get a whole set again, pretty much. And here, if you lose one of these, well, so what? So anyway, that's how it all works. Again, also, like, you can put some over here on these minor cities, etc., and you can see through them. You can read through them for the most part. Again, there's some glare from the light, but yeah, see right there. Yeah, see, I can still clearly read Naples right there. I can still clearly read Chicago. Yes, Chicago is a minor city. If the Central Powers got Chicago, it'd be a big deal, right? But anyway, that's all for now. Hit up the Madman if you're interested. Like I said, take care and stay tuned. We'll be continuing our current Kings and Kaisers game when we can. Madman's got to get it all set back up again. His life's been chaos right now. Oh man, the things we do to play games, right? All right, take it easy, YouTube.